75 years after American troops stormed the beaches of Normandy, France on D-Day, 5 Fort Polk soldiers retraced the steps of the paratroopers who played a defining role in World War II, even landing on the very ground so many fought and died for.
They were such heroes and they did so much for their country. It was a lot of emotion and it was very, very surreal to be there. And very honoring. I'd never thought in my entire life I'd be able to go there and see that at that time on that day.
Soldiers in 1st Battalion 509th Airborne Infantry Regiment, like Sergeant First Class Jared Choate, tried to imagine the Great Crusade in which American troops embarked on June 6, 1944, without the technology of today's Army.
Whenever you see those black and white pictures or you see old video footage of it, you really don't get a grasp of how far that those guys had to travel with little or no cover. You don't realize when you crested the beach and you've already made it to the end that you have high ground on the far side, and it's an uphill fight the whole time.
Sergeant Paris Reynolds and Captain Robert Doyle got an idea of what that uphill fight was like when scaling Point du Hoc. American Rangers had to climb the 100-foot cliffs to get rid of German artillery that could be used against troops landing on the beaches below. Doyle, formerly assigned to the 1st Ranger Battalion, was in awe of the infamous assault after scaling it himself.
When we were walking, we were going up the cargo net. You try to put yourself in that mindset and what they dealt with, and you just can't. We weren't carrying any equipment. We hadn't just got off a boat. We were fresh and we weren't under fire.
Visiting St. Mariglie Church was one of the many memorable moments for Reynolds. Private John Steele's parachute got stuck on a spire after accidentally landing on the roof. He pretended to be dead for hours.
I was told the story by one of the French people there that grew up there. I remember seeing him land on the church, and then the Germans realized that he was actually alive, so they captured him. And a week later, he escaped, and he came back every other year after the war.
For Sergeant First Class Ivan Creston, the trip reaffirmed childhood stories from his grandparents who lived through World War II in Czechoslovakia.
My grandfather saw all this happen, and my grandmother, witnessed the atrocities and the tyranny and the oppression from Germany and the Nazi occupation throughout Europe. Being able to see those with my own eyes has been awesome. Absolutely amazing.
Normandy's hallowed ground painted a picture of what the greatest generation sacrificed on D-Day, a solemn reminder burned into the minds of each soldier.
They're what we all aspire to be. They did the impossible with next to nothing or very little, on nothing but willpower alone, and they won the war.
And trying to live up to what they've done. I don't know if it'll ever be answered or we'll ever measure up. The benchmark has been set, and it's been set high, and we will try to attain it.
Covering Fort Polk, Lydia Magallanes for News Channel 5, your local station.